function argument, if a function is used to use as a argument, it must declare variable that accept the value of the argument. These variables are called as the formal parameter. So when you call a function, you are passing a value, int a, int b. We are passing then in main method. We are given enter two value. So you are giving a value, then you have to accept it. So there is a two type of calling function we are using. One is call by value, another is call by reference. Call by value, this method copy the actual value of an argument into a formal parameter of the function. In the case, changes made to the parameter inside a function have no effect on the argument. This method copy the actual value of an argument into the formal parameter. So whatever the actual value are given, that is copy into the formal parameter. In this
argument कौन कहूचे?
Parameter to argument कहूचे. So these are the parameter int a and int b.
Oh, ताको हाँ
Okay. So whatever the actual value you are taken. So in a main method we are taken two actual value, 10 and 20. It is stored in the a and b, and it is show the result. Then call by reference. This method copy the address of an argument into formal parameter. It contains the address where your value is stored. The address is used to access the actual argument used in the call. This means that the changes made to the parameter affect the argument. Okay. So call by value, this method copy the actual value of an argument into a formal parameter of the function. In the case, changes made to the parameter inside the function have no effect on the argument. Argument this method copy the actual value. Whatever the actual value we are given, it copy the actual value into the formal parameter, the parameter that you are given. In this case, changes made to the parameter inside the function. Inside a function, if you do any kind of changes in the parameter value, it does not affect the argument. Okay. So call by reference, this method copy the address of the argument. It is not directly you are passing. You are passing what address where your value is stored. So if you do any kind of changes to the parameter inside a function, it is reflected on the what argument. Okay, as because it is not having the value of its own, it contains the address where your value is stored. Suppose we are defining a array value. Okay, so you in a array value in the pseudocode you have learned. So we store the array value through the index number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Suppose in the 0 index number, earlier you are passing 10. So later when I change 10 to 20 or 30, so that value is inserted. Okay. This is an example of call by value.
सर एट जो आईएनटी मेन टा को टिके भॉइड मेन कर दियौ।
So in main method, we're defining two variables, int a equals to 100, int b equals to 200. Okay. So before swap the value of a, it is giving you value 100. Before the swap of the value b, it is giving you another value. Okay. So swap a and b. Okay. So
स्वैप ए एंड बी टा को कोन कहला फंक्शन
swap is a function. This function. This
अच्छा सेठी
function
अछि
contain a parameter int x and y. In the swap value, we are passing what? 100 and 200. This 100 and 200 is stored in the x and y. So we are defining a temporary variable. In temporary, your 100 is stored. In x, y value is stored. Means y value is what? 200. In x, 200 is stored. In y, temporary value is stored. Temporary value is what? 100.
100
Now y value is 100 now. X value is now
200
200. Now it is return the value. Okay. So once it is return the value, it is stored where? In the function. So after swap the value of A is this one and value of B is what? So they showing you the two parts. Before swapping A and B value is before swap value of A is 100.
B is 200
B is 200. Then after swapping the value is changed. So we're changing the value. Then we return. Okay. Then here what happened? It is showing you password. Before swapping
100
100 and 200 passing
100 200 हाँ
100 200.
सर सेठी खाली स्वैप लिखा गेला वर्ड स्वैप लिखा होनी जेतोला में कॉल करछ फंक्शन को
कॉल बड़े बहुत टाइम लिखा हुआ
कॉल बेले खाली फंक्शन टा लिखा हो ना
So we are passing what? A and B we are passing here. A and B. This A and B is stored where? In the X and Y.
int x int y
Okay. Then in temporary 100 is stored. In Y 200 is stored. So Y is initialized in the X. Temporary value is initialized in the Y. Okay. So before swap your value is 100 and 200. After swap what? The value is changes. It is returned. It is not reflected. Clear? So that when you want to back the value or return the value from the function, then what should you have to perform? So here you see that in void swap, int temporary save the value of x, save the value of put y into x, y value is stored into x, put temporary into y, then it is returnable. So it's not affected any changes. But here what happened, in void swap function, we're defining a address. Star means it is store the address of x, it is store the address of y. Int temporary, temporary equals to address of x. Now y address is stored in the x address. Then temporary value is stored in the y address.
Y address.
Okay. Then after this, when you are using call by reference example, what will be the result? So we discussed this star concept in the pointer chapter. But as it is a concept is present, I will discuss. Before swap value is 100 and 200. After swap it is what? Now it is changes. It is 200 and 100. Okay.
तो फिर जो एम्परसेंट जो हमें नेले स्वैप रे एम्परसेंट बी एम्परसेंट रो काम कोन रहला सेठी
First we are defining a function void swap function. Int x and y, which is store the address of the variable. Then we are defining a function int x and int y, which is containing what parameter.
दिटांग तो सेम देखाउछ ना दिटांग सेम देखाउछ ना माने
ऊपर टा होचे
दिटांग फंक्शन
थॉट होचे इंप्लीमेंटेशन
ओहो
ऊपर डिक्लेयर होला ना
Okay.
Then in main method, we are passing int a equals to 200, b equals to 200. Before swapping, the value of a is 100 and value of b is 200. And now we are passing the value 100 and 200. Means we copy the address. Now where I have to store in x and y. Now in temporary variable we define. In temporary variable we store the address of x. In y variable value address is stored in the x, so x contains the address of y. Then temporary already contains the address of x. Now the address of temporary is stored in the y. So x address, y value is stored. Now means x address y value is stored, it is 200. It is by temporary address is stored. Temporary will contain the address of x.
x.
Okay.
जदि आमे खाली माने एमती लिखले कि स्टार्टिंग रे जो आमे फंक्शन डिक्लेयर करले फंक्शन डिक्लेयर करिकी आउ आमे लिखिबानी फंक्शन इनिशियलाइजेशन ना माने खाली फंक्शन डिक्लेयर कर देले स्टेटमेंट रे तापर स्टार्ट कर देले फंक्शन अंडर रे जो इंटरचेंज ऑफ एड्रेस ता कोन शो करियो
खाली फंक्शन
माने फंक्शन डिक्लेरेशन ता आमे रखले किंतु फंक्शन एनालाइजेशन ता आमे रखले नियो तो तळे जो वर्ड स्वैप आ गोटे लिखा हला सेटा को जदि आमे लिखियानी कोन हो
error show करेगा. We are not implementing any function, but we have defined.
ओहो बुझली.
Okay.
आमे किंतु इम्प्लीमेंटेशन जोटा सेटा आमे तळे करू ना माने ऊपर तो करू ना आमे तळे ही करू. इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ता माने तळे माने मेन मेथड अंडर आमे इम्प्लीमेंटेशन करू ना. अच्छा जोट कर. आई
किंतु it is a structure. You define, you implement, then you call. Define, implement one. Which is enhance the readability.
आगे
बुझिला.
आगे सर. माने से एग्जांपल ने हमें जमते नहीं थिले फंक्शन भीतर जो पैरामीटर नहीं थिले सेटा को होउची ना हमें फंक्शन अंडर जो वेरिएबल डिफाइन करते सेटा को
in a function body, what are the variable you define, that is called the local. Outside of the function, what are the variable you define, it is called the global variable.
अच्छा लास्ट एग्जांपल ले जेमते हम स्वैप जो करतले ता देरे फंक्शन जो लेखाला ता अंडर रे गोटे जो टेम्पररी माने वेरिएबल गोटे हम रखतले सेटा हो जो लोकल.
All are local in that case. int temporary is local, x and y is also local. So all
a और b जोटा नहीं थिले
they local.
एटा लोकल हो.
Is defined inside a
global का क्या चल.
Global is, it is not defined inside a method. Whether it is a main method, whether it is a user defined. Okay.
Again.
A scope in any programming language defined. The variable can have its existence, and beyond that variable, it cannot be accessed. So there are 3 places where the variable can be declared in C programming language. Inside a function or block, which is called as the local variable. Outside of the function is called as the global variable. In the definition of the function or parameter, it is called as the formal parameter. Okay, so in the
parameter ta function la no je.
There is a formal parameter. So in the case of local variable that is declared inside a function block are called as the local variable. They can be used only by the statement that are inside that function or block of code. Local variable are not known to the function or outside of their own. The following examples show how the local variable are used, and here all the variable A and B, C are local to the main method. See that it is a local variable. int A, B, C. By passing A equals to 10, B equals to 20, C equals to A plus B. So it is added all the numbers.
सब local variable लजिबो.
These are A, B, C is called the local variable as the variable is defined inside a main method.
मेन मेथड हाँ
Then global variable defined outside of a function, usually on the top of a program. On the top of a program, you have to define a global variable. Global variable hold their value throughout the lifetime of your program, and they can be accessed inside any of the function defined in the program. A global variable can be accessed by any function. That is, global variable is available for use throughout the entire program. So entire program, you can use the global variable. Okay. So where you have to define global variable? INTG. Okay, it is not defined any function. It is not defined in the main method. It is not defined in any local variable. It is defined after the header file. So it is called the global variable. So int a and b is called the local variable. So a equals to 10, b equals to 20, g equals to a plus b. So it is shows the result. But here g is called the global variable.
जोटा पूरा बाहर डिक्लेयर होची सेटा होची ग्लोबल वेरिएबल
Global variable.
जोटा का अंडर रे डिक्लेयर होने.
Yes. Then here we define int a equals to 20. In function we define some variable int a equals to 10, int b equals to 20, c equals to 0. Okay. Then we are calling a function c equals to sum a and b. So we are passing what? A and b value. So a and b value is going and stored where? In the function a and b. That is shows the value a and b, and it is return the value as adding the two number and shows the results a and b. So it is stored in the c variable and it is printing the value. Okay. So here a and b is called as the formal parameter. Clear?
Okay.
It is all about your user-defined function. In next class, we go for the array. Okay.
Thank you, sir.